Hello friends, and welcome to the Southern Mountain Kitchen. Today we're going to make oven baked potatoes. So what you see on my counter is what we're going to use to make these potatoes, and there's really not a lot going into this. You're basically going to need about maybe 4 to 5 russet potatoes, depending on how large they are. If you have really large ones, you could probably get away with 4 of these. Then we're going to need some water, some butter, a little bit of olive oil. We're going to need some seasoning, and that's pretty much all you need to make these. And once we get them all mixed up, put together, we're going to put them into an oven, and then about 40 minutes later you've got something really great to go as a side to any meal like chicken or whatever. So what we're going to do is peel our potatoes, and then we're going to cube these. So basically we're just going to cut them across the center and then turn them sideways and cut them again until we actually cut through all of these. Now make sure before we start doing this that before you peel them, you wash your potatoes, get them peeled really well, and look for any dark spots in it. There's some that are going to make it through, but that's okay. And we're going to go ahead and cut these up completely until we get them all cut through for all of the potatoes we have on the counter. Now once you're cutting these, you're going to want to put them in a bowl of water. There's just something about putting them in the water that's going to help them, for the fact that 1, you're going to get rid of a lot of starch, but 2, you're going to stop them from actually changing colors. Because if you let your potatoes sit out after you cut them and just sit on the counter, they're going to start to brown and they're going to actually start turning bad, and we don't want that. So when you put them in the water, you're going to stop that process, but you're going to have them in there for a while, and that's going to get rid of a lot of starch, and it's actually just going to make them a little bit more pleasant to eat. So we're going to go ahead, like I said, and cut these all up. Now along the time that we're doing this, we need to go ahead and preheat our oven to 400 degrees, because these are going to bake for about 40 minutes once they're in there. And once they're baking, you're going to want to turn these halfway through. So you're going to cook them, let one side be up, and it's going to get brown and golden and everything. Then we're going to flip them, turn them over, put them back in. So we're talking like 20 minutes in, you're going to want to turn these around, because you don't want them just cooking on one side, because we want to make sure that they're golden all the way around, all the ridges, all the top, bottom, and everything. So make sure that oven is warmed up to 400 degrees before we get there. And just remember, you're going to need a baking pan later and some parchment paper, because when you put it on the parchment paper, it's going to save a lot of cleanup time on your baking pan that you're using to put these on. So go ahead and finish cutting up your potatoes. As you can see, I'm on my last one here, and this actually makes a lot of potatoes when you do it, which is really great, because when you cut it up and you cube it the way I'm doing it here, it actually just works to give you a bunch that you could divvy up amongst several people, and that's a wonderful thing, because you could easily serve 4 to 5 people out of what I'm making here, because you're adding this to other things that you're fixing, like I fixed mine with chicken. So we're going to drain that water off the potatoes after about 15 minutes, and we're going to transfer them to a separate bowl to do what we're doing, because we don't want any of the water that is still in the bottom of this original bowl to get on them again. So transfer them over. You can do it by hand, and then we're going to add some stuff to this, so that way we can actually get these going for the oven. So we're going to start out with about 3 tablespoons of olive oil, and we're going to pour that over top of the potatoes. So go ahead and drizzle it around. It doesn't matter if it's all even, because we're going to mix this up in a little bit later. And then we're going to take 3 tablespoons of butter, which I've already melted mine, and pour that over the top, because we want to give it a chance to mix through really well. Now we're going to mix this up, and then after we do this, we're going to get it completely coated on the potatoes, and we're going to add seasonings to this. So make sure that all the potatoes are coated. And then we're going to add a half a teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of pepper, and a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. Get that coated all over the top of these. Make sure you get it all out of your container. And then next we're going to add a half a teaspoon of Italian seasoning, 1/4 of a teaspoon of onion powder, and 3/4 of a teaspoon of paprika. And get that all over the top. And then once this is in, we're going to mix this up, because we want to make sure that all the seasoning is distributed evenly over top of the potatoes, all through them, and make sure that's all mixed up really well. So go ahead and keep stirring that up and keep moving it around until you see that there is actually seasoning over all the potatoes. And we're going to keep doing this until we are ready to move these on into our baking pan. So like I said, line it with some parchment paper, and then we're just going to scoop these out onto the parchment paper. Just pull them out, and if there's a little bit of liquid in the bottom, that's going to be from your olive oil and your butter, and you can go ahead and let as much of that get on the pan as you want to, because it's fine, because it's going to help cook into these. and just make them literally leveled out, not over top of each other, because we want these to brown and get golden edges. And if they're piled on top of each other, that's not going to happen really well. So go ahead and spread them about. Remember, your oven's at 400 degrees for 40 minutes. And then, as I said, once these have cooked for about 20 minutes in the oven, we're going to bring it back and flip them over, and that way cook the other side. So as you can see, this is mine coming back after 20 minutes, and you see there's golden already going on one side of these. So just go ahead and take a spatula or whatever, work your way underneath and flip these, so that way you get a really good coating on both sides of these, as far as like they're going to be brown on the top, brown on the bottom. You're going to have seasoning on the top and the bottom. If there's any of that oil or butter down there, it's going to actually transfer over as you're flipping these around. And then we're going to put it back in the oven for 20 minutes and let them bake all over again. And after you've reached the 40-minute marker, these are going to be really well cooked. They're going to be golden brown and have such a great taste to them. And that's the best thing about it. There's really not much to doing this, but you get a great side dish to go with whatever. And as you can see, this is what mine looked like. And I served them with some chicken, and this was just an amazing meal. It had such a great flavor to it. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe. And if you get a chance, check out the Southern Mountain Kitchen website, where you can get a free recipe, check out the cookbooks available from the Southern Mountain Kitchen, and if you'd like to, you could order a cookbook at a discounted price, cheaper than Amazon, with shipping that is also cheaper than Amazon. So if you get a chance, check it out, and I hope you have a great day.